Hello everyone and welcome to this video where today I'm going to be teaching you how to use our selection tool and direct selection tool plus the group selection tool in our Adobe Illustrator software. So first, in order to select the selection tool, we have to go to the left side of our tool panel over here, and then you can see that we have a selection tool present here and also our group selection and direct selection tool present here as you can see clearly. Okay, first, what the selection tool does, as I explained in the previous video, is that it is a black arrow icon that you can use all the time. It functions as a typical cursor, allowing you to select, click, and drag objects around your text screen. Okay, so first let me create an object so that I can show you what it does. So let's create an object over here. Okay, now you can see that I have a square over here. Let me increase the line of our stroke by clicking on this arrow over here to go to properties for my rectangle. Okay, so I'll increase the stroke to about this much. All right, now what I'll do is basically go over here and I can click on the object, then I can move it to any place I want, as you can see clearly. Okay, so this is what you use to basically do with the selection tool. You click on it, drag it, and you can also resize your objects using the selection tool, as I will show you right now. You can select any one of these sides to increase their width, their height, okay? Or if you want to increase them gradually with a corner, you can do that as well. All right. Some things you need to know about using the selection tool is that you can also use it to copy your objects. Now, you can either just select copy and paste it over here like I did, or you can go over here and let's say I hold the Alt key on my keyboard, and now you can see the cursor uh, the cursor changes itself, and here it is showing me a different cursor, which means it is ready to copy. Okay, now if I click and drag, you'll notice that my original shape stays in place and I can copy it and put it over here. And then afterwards, if you want to copy more types of the same shape over here, you can just press Ctrl plus D and it will copy your shape according to the space and also the width and height you left it on your artboard, as you can see over here. Okay, we can use these ways in order to create different types of designs in Adobe Illustrator. Now say I select all of these objects over here, I can also press Alt to copy them down, as you can clearly see right now. Okay, this is very helpful while creating any types of designs that contains repetitive same designs. Okay, now let's press Ctrl D over here. Now you can see that I have a calendar format almost done. Let's press Ctrl Z, and Ctrl Z is basically to do and undo of your move that you did previously. All right, now here you can see that all of my objects are here and it looks perfect. All right, now what the selection tool also allows you to do is basically select an object and change its color. Now you can either go over here, double click it and select a color from here from our color picker, or you can go over here to the color option and then select a color over here, and now you can see that it readily changes its color according to the one I want. Okay, I can select this one, let it be yellow, this one, let it be navy blue, red, let's say this one has black, green, etc. Now, another thing you need to know about selection tool, you can use it to select a group of shapes and then change your colors as well. Now you can see that 4 of my rectangles over here have the orange color, okay? And let's say you want to select all of them, but there are a few of the objects over here which you do not want to change the colors of. So what you'll do is basically press an object over here, press Shift, and then select the objects that you want. And afterwards, you can change their colors. Now you can see that the objects that I have chose selectively have changed their colors by holding the Shift key on my keyboard. Okay, now I can go again here, match the object's color so that matches over here. All right, now I'm gonna do the same thing, select 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5, and change their color. There you go. Now you can see this is what it looks like. Okay, all right, so this is how you use the selection tool. Okay, And afterwards, let's delete all of this and I'll show you how to basically, let's say I create a rectangle over here. Before that, let's press Ctrl Z and select default colors. Let's increase the stroke a bit. Okay. Now, what I have here is the rectangle, and I told you before that I can use these options or dots over here in order to change the way I want my shape to be. There's also another rounded corner option over here. As you can see, right over under this vertex, we have this dot with a full stop inside, and I can just click on it and drag it in order to make a rounded corner. Okay, as you can see. Now if you want to change the way you want to see your rounded corner, just go over here. As soon as your cursor changes, double click on it, and afterwards we will see our transform panel pop up, and over here it will show you the rectangle corners. Okay, let's just click on this again. Okay, after clicking on that, you can see that we have this transform panel up here, and here we have the corner type that we want, and we can select on this, and then you'll see different types of corner types. As you can see, we have the chamfer, the inverted round, and the round. Okay, let's select round, and here you can also select the corner radius that you want. As you can clearly see, let's turn it back to 0. Okay, after that, we can also put this constraint or link corner value radius. So if I select this, say I do this and do not select this, what will happen is it will only reduce the corner of one selective corner, as you can clearly see. Okay, after that we have rectangle properties for our width and height, and over here you also have the width and height as well, the axes that is placed in our basic artboard. We also can change the angle over here, as you can clearly see. We can also change it into a parallelogram if we want. Let's put it back to 0. Okay, then afterwards we have scale corners and scale strokes and effects. Okay, let's go back here, and if I do this, and let me just get small, and now you can see that the edges are not being changed. Okay, let's go back, press Ctrl Z. Okay, now after we are done with our selection tool, let me explain you what these points are. These points, okay, these white dots over here are basically anchor points, and this dot over here is the center. Okay, you can change the center of your dot, but I'll show that to you in another video. Then afterwards, now let's go to our direct selection tool, and what the direct selection tool does is basically it allows you to individually select and edit specific anchor points of vectors, shapes, or lines. Okay, where the regular selection tool would select the entire shape, the direct selection tool enables you to edit one angle, side, point, or curve at a time. For example, now if I wanted to change this rectangle, so let me just put all corners over here and say I wanted to change this anchor. Okay, now with the selection tool we can also do the work of our direct selection tool, but now I don't think so. So let's use the selection tool, and then let's say I want to make this a triangle by removing this anchor over here. I can do that, not remove, actually move it, and you can see after I select it, I can automatically take it to the center, and now my rectangle has become a triangle. Now let's press Ctrl Z to undo. I can do that with any of these paths that I have available over here. Okay, now let's say I want to reduce this anchor. Just double click on it, and afterwards I can move it like that. And then just double click on this, I can move it like that. Now you can see that we have a perspective of it, and you can also select multiple anchors by just double clicking on it, press shift and then double click on this one too, and then you can just select it and move it, and now you can see that I have 2 anchors moving. Okay, I can also select 3 anchors. Let's select this, and this. Afterwards I can move them like that, as you can clearly see. Okay, all right, so this is for the rectangle. Now I'll show you something about the circle. Okay, let's delete this and let's take the ellipse tool, press shift and create a perpendicular circle from the center. Now let's take the direct selection tool. Now you'll notice whenever I click on an anchor, it gives me these two this straight line on the edge, which are known as the handles. What the handles will do is basically curve my path over here. Now I can either use the direct selection tool to curve my path, as you clearly saw right now, or I can just click on the path over here and then select the anchor handle and then move it like this, as you can clearly see. Okay, afterwards I can do the same thing to all of these anchors over here. All right, let's go down and then select this anchor and then select this anchor. All right, now you can see that I have a weird shape over here. Using my direct selection tool, I change the handles direction and create this wavy shape over here. All right, if I select it again, you can see I have the handles present. I can move them all one by one, or I can also select them like this and move them. All right, so this is how you use the direct selection tool in order to move your handles. So let's select this and delete it. And afterwards, let's say I want to create a design with my selection tool, which I will basically use the group selection tool in order to show you its work. Okay, so let's go ahead and first tell you what the group selection tool does. This tool is used to easily select a specific object within a group in order to move, edit, and resize it individually. I actually even didn't realize this was a real tool until today, but I'm super glad it exists because this will save you a lot of time and eliminate the need for a million double clicks, which accomplish the same thing but takes a lot longer. Okay, so let's create a group of objects over here. Let's take the polygon. Let's press shift and okay, now that I've created a polygon, let's use the selection tool. Let's put it over here. Let's just press Alt over here, copy it just like that. Press Alt, copy it just like that. Okay, let's move this one a bit to the right. Okay, there you go. We have our shape ready. Now, what I'm going to do is select it, press Alt. Make a copy of it just like that. Select it, go a bit far. Okay, now what I'm going to do, press Ctrl Z, take it back. Now I can just select the whole thing, press Alt, and copy it like that. Okay, so now let me delete these two over here. I can easily then select all of them, press Alt, paste them over like this. Okay, now you can see that I have a beautiful honeycomb structure. Now I want to select all of them and I want to change their stroke color. So I'll double click on appearance over here or single click and then select yellow or orange. That works better. And then in color fill, I would like to put in the yellow color. Okay, now you can see that I have a honeycomb ready for use. Okay, now what I would like to show you is basically first let me group them together, because most of the time you want to group your objects together in order to like use them. For example, let's say I want to move all of them together, but I do not want to change the way it looks and save a lot of time. So for example, let me just Control Z to ungroup them again and say I want to move them one by one. Okay, that will take a lot of time and I do not want to waste that much time. So in order to save time with the selection tool, I'll select all of them, right click, select group, and then what will happen is basically when I select one part of the object, it all moves along. Okay, so this is a very good shortcut to use while you're trying to move a lot of objects together, but trying to save time, not to waste any measurements that you're trying to do. Okay, now afterwards, what I'd like to do is basically move a selected tool, but not just, just double clicking on this selected and then moving it, which will just be like very time consuming. As you can clearly see, if I double click it, then I only can move it, but it still stays in a group. Now if I move one of them, you can see that all of them moves. In order to just repeat what I just did without even like double clicking on them, I can just go over here, right click, select the group selection tool, and now afterwards I can select any one of these objects and then move them individually without worrying about whether I have to ungroup them or double click to move them. As you can clearly see over here, I can move each of them without worrying if it is double clicked or not, or either ungrouped from their position. Okay, let's create a design over here. All right, now since my design is complete, that concludes the end of our lesson. So thank you for watching this video, and I hope you've understood how to use the selection tool, direct selection tool, and group selection tool. So I'll see you in the next lesson. Okay.